holograms, chemtrails, and looking for keywords and avoiding reading. Okay, I'm going to show you the results of using a 3D medium involving barium, because barium is a trigger word for anybody dealing with chemtrails. Of course, you're going to look at this cube here and say, oh, that must be it, right? No, actually it's not. That's a different thing entirely. I'll explain what it is later, but here is the insanely uber high quality, totally can't debunk it, image quality you're going to get out of a 3D medium versus a 2D medium like a piece of film for making a 3D hologram. You may have noticed it's complete crap. Okay, next. Then we're going to go, just got to invoke 2-pack here, because that totally wasn't just simply, literally, an image effect projected on a fairly clear screen. This is another 3D image here of dice that are put up on pins, and you can see, oh my goodness, how absolutely realistic they are when they really, literally were just a pair of dice sitting there. And look how totally realistic it is. It's not like it's overemphasizing the dimples in it or totally screwing up the image entirely. This is one of the better images that show what is going on here in a cubic material involving barium. Barium titanium oxide in this case. And I like how they have something called a kitty and a cat. It's very cute. And then here we have a CMOS sensor, and we have thingies here. Okay. And if anybody's curious, this is a beam splitter here. Now I'll wait for the next group of people to go through. Alright. If anybody's curious, this, by the way, is a very false version of how the imaging system works. Alright? Okay. Now if anybody wants to know how to make an actual hologram, guess what? You can actually make a hologram yourself. It's not that complicated. I'm going to refer to this image here, even though it's not a perfect example. Basically, you take a laser beam, preferably just one color frequency. You aim it at a splitter and have it split the image to where it bounces off the object you want to image, and the other part of it hits a piece of film. This is not displaying it exactly, but you get the idea here. Basically, the idea is to create an interference pattern inside of the film by having laser beam strike the film and then having the same laser beam with a delay time added, hitting the object and just bouncing off and spraying off into space towards the film. That's how a normal 3D works. And this cubic 3D thing involving barium, its magical property is it's actually just the same. In fact, it can technically collect more information, but it's not a better quality image. Now I'm just going to go to the text file here. 3D images stored in photo-refractive strontium, barium, niobate as well. Holographic crystal storage mediums, recorded and projected without time-consuming processing, because you can re-erase it and record it fast. Fast is a relative term, by the way. Using a phase conjugate read beam from a double-pumped phase conjugate mirror for wavelength multiplexing as charge carriers become trapped, which induces a space charge distribution. Warning, external light will slowly erase the grating in the crystal, and sure as heck would do this if you sprayed it in the atmosphere, therefore it wouldn't act as a 3D hologram anymore, much less being something to project a hologram on, because that is not how holograms work, you insipid morons out there. None of the people who posted any of this stuff about the subject took a simple class at the college on how to make a hologram at all. In real 3D hologram, the image-bearing beam, ED, contains a spatially dependent term because of the read beam is only truly phase-matched on axis. Thus, the maximum field of view for holograms is severely restricted as the read beam diverges. Now, what does all that mean? Okay, phase conjugate means that a light beam hitting a mirror of this kind, we're just going to call it a mirror, will reflect back exactly in the same direction. A lot like a corner cube or a reflector on a car or a bicycle. It's just on such a fine grain that it reflects it directly back. So you can use it to basically create a time delay, so you can take advantage of that. Optical energy required is 10 millijoules per square centimeter of optical energy for doing these 3D versions with a 10,000 1000 mm to the negative first power resolution limit. If you don't know what that means the resolution is not necessarily any better. Actually, it's not any better at all than doing a simple thin emulsion on glass 3D hologram. And the light energy is maybe lower, maybe higher, depending on what color frequency you're dealing with. But none of these, and I mean none of these, are going to get you a fake Shakur god showing up in the heavens telling you that rap is God. Okay? None of this. This meme is really stupid. Alright? It really is. What is going on here is people are throwing magic words and phrases indistinguishable from technology, unless you go look at the damn thing up, and telling you that a 3D hologram you got as a toy out of literally a gumball machine is different than this 3D material. Now, this material, this isn't really what it looks like, this cube thing, but the cubic version can store more information by deliberately restricting where the images show up. That's all it is. And it is something that involves barium. So if it involves the word barium, and you look it up in some technical manual and type in hologram, you'll find a bunch of stuff that you can throw at people who they won't be able to interpret this. Now, I gave all of the stuff I'm listing below a good read through 3 or 4 times, and in my opinion, except for data storage or storing images in a higher density, much higher density, by the way, because you could store thousands of images in a fairly small space here. This is not really any different than a standard 3D hologram, and more importantly, even though you can set it into a material, it still requires that it be projected the same direction, which means it'll look inside out if you see it from the wrong angle, and it is not a 3D projection material that you would throw in the air to create a fake holographic Jesus coming. Because it isn't. And anybody disagreeing with this is simply refusing to look up a simple thing. You can get a freaking copy of the information for free using ordinary film, and a very creative way of doing it, by the way. Or you can just buy a kit for making holograms and just make one, and then tell everybody how you know how holograms work, maybe at that point, and then acknowledge that they don't have the ability to be thrown up in the sky as a pulverized dust to produce a hologram, because that does not work. It would require a coherent beam in the optical range from one angle of one color. You can do it with ordinary light, full spectrum, like let's say from the sun, kind of, but it wouldn't show a 3D hologram. It would show a screwed up smear. Now, if you believe that's what's going on here, I can't fix that in you. But the least you can do for yourself and your friends and neighbors' sanity, and maybe your family members' sanity, dealing with you, is to go look up how a hologram is actually built or done, and maybe learn how they're done before you comment on the subject. I've made a couple of dozen holograms in my life. It's a boring hobby for me because I never could get it to go the way I wanted to. And this 3D cubic material, look at the green patterns on top and tell me that's much better than the hologram you can get now at Sharper Image or at the Discovery Discovery store. Seriously? Okay, this is a dead subject. It always has been, but I thought I'd address this because somebody used barium, a barium compound, in the material to do something 3D. They said, see, proof, we were always right. Barium is done. And I'm going to remind everybody, barium isn't in contrails, or chemtrails, whatever you want to call it. Barium was invoked first by someone a long time ago because it was a scary-sounding word that they stuck in their screen so they could sell health products and chi flushing eliminator stuff. This is an extremely old scam that's gotten way out of hand. Now be sure to comment below how I'm a sheeple or whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching, have a good day, and good luck with that.